Samad. Salim, let me start with you, which is that some of the commentary that's coming in from Dhaka is acrimonious, to say the least, but could also have a larger bearing on the relationship between New Delhi and Dhaka.
Thank you for having me. I don't think there will be any problem with the Bangladesh India relationship or Delhi Dhaka dialogue, which is to continue. Today, the Indian High Commissioner has met again another advisor on of course economics. So, and they have mentioned that there will be no problem with the bilateral mega
So why
projects or the
not rein
project.
in some of these elements?
Number one. Number two is that when you're talking about the border clash, it is true that this has happening for the last 20 years, and the former regime had also placed their protest several times, or maybe 100 times, and every time there is a protest, they're always on the Indian side. The BSF has
It's very
already
heartening
mentioned.
to know. It's very heartening to know that this is business as usual, because it indicates that things are as close as they can be to normal. It's very heartening to know that. But then let me ask you a question on that, Salim. I'm going to come to you, Anjit, in just a bit. Mr. Samad, the question is that why not rein in, or why can't Yunus government then rein in some of these fringe elements which are making commentary that could have a larger or disproportionate impact?
Bangladesh Nationalist Party have been saying this for the last 25 years. There was nothing objection before, because it is a unist government. So the BNP or the Bangladesh Nationalist Party is talking about India-Bangladesh relations. That is not going to hurt, because BNP is nowhere in the party. They were no in the government. They are nowhere on the sideline of this interim government. So it doesn't matter what they say. The most important is what is the interim government is talking to Delhi. That is very important. And of course, the border issue is a very crucial and very most, I would say that it is one of the most, I mean, for example, since January of 2024 and June, and of course this September, about 15 Bangladeshi nationals were shot and killed by BSF, and more than 20 have been injured. Let's not talk about the injury. None of the case in the last, since January, or even if you're talking about 2009, when Awami League came to power, till the
And hold your thought there.
500,
Hold your thought,
500,
Salim Samad. Hold your thought. I'm going to come to you. Anjit Sen, respond to that. Is it as business as usual, as Salim is saying, or India should be wary of commentary coming in at a time when relationship is being tested? It's being tested on several fronts, and this commentary New Delhi needs to be wary of.
Well, I think so, because like a burning cauldron, what happens is primarily what's happening right now. As far as the dictation that is coming in from different groups in Bangladesh about negativity that's being spread about India, is something which is definitely needs to be looked into by the Yunus administration, because otherwise it's not about the fringe elements in Bangladesh who are only making it. It's coming from all across. You can see that all across in social media, in
Are you saying
newspapers,
that
in news
anti-India
channels.
commentary is being normalized? Is that what you're saying, Anjit said?
It's yeah, it's kind of picking up in a big way. I'm not saying normalizing, but it's picking up in a big way, and it's still very much there, because yesterday evening there were about more than 100 people near the border, in one of the areas in the border of of India and Bangladesh, where these people were chanting anti-India slogans all through, and they wanted to kind of show up in a way whereby, as if India is their biggest enemy, and it's just that it has been lying low. So it's that kind of a picture which has been drawn up by these Bangladeshi elements against India, and it is high time the Yunus administration should look into it and do some action. Actually, take some action against them, because
So
that's
what
high
is
time.
it that
If they
Ayanjit
want
said you
to
would want as the top one or two things that the interim government could take? My hope is that this interim government is only interim. It's only there for a couple of months. So its agenda should be very focused and narrow. But in those couple of months, what do you think should be its one or two priorities to ensure that this commentary subsides and doesn't have a larger impact?
First of all, in terms of the time span that you mentioned, couple of months, it might actually go beyond that. Number one,
Yeah, that's my
And
hope, as I said.
there
Yeah.
are yeah, there are good chances that it may actually transcend quite a bit, quite a bit more than 2 months, in fact. But irrespective of that, whichever, if it's the interim administration or whichever party comes to power in Bangladesh, at the end of the day, the situation that is out right now happening, even in the border area, it's something which needs to be looked in, and blame
Okay.
cannot be given just to BSF,
All
because
right.
BSF
Quick
has
closing comments,
it's
Salim Samad, from you as far as the impact this could have. Also, at a time when there's a lot of growing clamor for Sheikh Hasina's extradition, how do you see that also impacting the larger relationship between India and Bangladesh?
If you're talking about extradition, yes, it is very important that Professor Yunus has already mentioned this to Narendra Modi on the telephone, that they have a couple of steps have been taken. That number one, his phone connection, connectivity has been stopped in the safe house where she's living in Delhi.
Okay.
So this is number one. Number two, it's very important that she should be extradited for the murder of the 640 students.
I think, sir, 5th of August is now so far back in time that we can now let our emotions not take the better of us as far as Bangladesh is concerned. Sheikh Hasina's extradition is concerned. We're going to come back and talk more on that, but we're going to slip into a very short break, come back on the other side and talk more about India's chip ambitions. Where do they stand now? Big push coming in. America is supporting. The geopolitical climate is supportive. What does that mean? We come back and talk more.
Now joining us are Ismail and Tyro. A very warm welcome to NDTV. My first question to you, Ismail. Of course, your character is a new addition to Tolkien's world. Was there any pressure or did you take any inspiration to develop the character, or was it written so well that you didn't have to do much?
No, there is pressure, of course. There is pressure. But I was very ready to enter Tolkien's world. I'm a huge fan. And I wanted to do right by it. I love the elves. I love all things Tolkien. So it was just, for me, just an incredible opportunity.
You know, the toughest part of the whole grief, I'll never forget, is when Nan turned to me one time. And she goes, "John, I don't know what's happening to me."
Those weeks that he came in, with the 3 weeks that I could be his little girl again, nothing I can do will repay Marie Curie for doing that for. The amazing gift that they gave me was, I was there at his last breath. He was there for my first.
In the calls, they just listen. She just said, "John, just speak."
Although people don't like to talk about it, but we're getting older, it has to be done.
You start to think about, well, what would I do? Where would I want to leave things?
I will give everything back that I can to the hospice that gave me so much, not only in my name, but in Dad's name.
Who do I give my assets to?
Didn't realise you had a choice.
Give better end-of-life care to all. Get your free will guide today.
What does a robot know about love? It takes a human to translate that leap in our hearts into something we can see and hold. Essie.
Mindful Chef. Food to help you feel great. Try Mindful Chef now with 25% off your first 4 boxes. Healthy eating made easy at mindfulchef.com.
Greetings, wonderful people of Britain. I'm Tom Allen, and it's my pleasure to declare delivering good news is a daily routine with People's Postcode Lottery. Curious on how it works? Well, prick up your ears and let me explain. Enter with your postcode to play. Own it, rent it, doesn't matter. Winning postcodes are announced every day with a whole host of delightful prizes that could be won by you and your neighbours.
And in our October draws, you could win a share of £20.4 million.
It costs £12 for a monthly subscription that guarantees you entry into all draws every month, aside from winning. Take pride in knowing you're playing your part for charities, with players having raised over £1.3 billion so far. Want to find out more or join? Then why not hop onto our website or dial our digits for a chit-chat? Sign up before midnight on the 30th of September. You never know, good news could be delivered to your postcode.
Welcome back. You're watching India Global. It's time to now focus on the big semiconductor push. Well, the numbers are mind-boggling. 20 proposals, possibility of 7 crore chips per day, 1.52 lakh crore is the approved projects worth. 3 have already broken ground this year. Committed funds is 62,000 crores already, could go up to 76,000 crores. To talk about all these numbers, put them in perspective amidst the geopolitical climate is exactly what we will be discussing. Pankaj Mahindru joins me along with Ambassador Jaishankar. Pankaj Mahindru, President of, Chairman in fact of ICEA. Thank you so much, sir, for taking out the time. My first question, sir, these numbers seem to suggest that we may be late on the semiconductor story, but we are now more than catching up.
Yes, I think India has made incredible progress in a very short. This was conceptualized only 2.5 years back, and the progress is remarkable. And this is happening at a time when the almost the entire democratic world and otherwise is investing in semiconductors in a very big way, because it is expected that semiconductor demand will shoot up from 550 billion to over a trillion in the next 5-6 years. In face of that, India has been able to ground 5 good proposals. That is quite excellent. It is a this is something as big as the atomic energy and the space program of India. In fact, in the longer run, this will be, I think, an incredibly useful program for India. And industry is very pleased with the way things have panned out.
It's a very important thing that you said in terms of how significant this could be, maybe as much as our space mission. Ambassador Meera, I'm going to come to you in just a second, ma'am. But one question I want to ask you, Mr. Mahindru, is that when you look at the ambitions that India has, whether it is in the 28 nanometer or the 40 nanometer, essentially it wants to cover the lower end of the chip cycle, the chip ecosystem. Does that mean it could get there faster? Because a lot of that technology is now stable and already in place.
That's not a fact. That's not a fact. We are straddling the entire 360.
Okay.
The supply chain, semiconductor product design, where some incredible designs are going to come out. You see, semiconductor industry is not all about fabs and the supply chain of the fabs. A lot of value is embedded in the design. Companies like NVIDIA have proven that. So India is working on design as seriously as the fabs and packing. So packing is what, Malaysia does a lot of packing and Taiwan does a lot of packing. So the 3 proposals are packing proposals. In fact, the 4 proposals are packing proposal, and 1 is the fab, which are getting grounded. The DLI, which is design linked incentive scheme, already 13 companies are participating in that.
Yes.
And there are a lot of people who are getting supported with free tools. These startups, and typically these are startups. For example, ARM was a startup
Right.
30 years back. These companies
Absolutely.
started as startups. So it's not a fact that we are doing lower technology, etc., etc. And by
Yes.
the way, lower technology is also a huge bulk of semiconductors are so-called lower technology. So we have to break into that also.
Ambassador Meera, then let me ask you this, ma'am. This push is happening at a time when there are favorable tailwinds for India when it comes to joining the chip ecosystem. There is now a greater push that China needs to be excluded from the high-end technological breakthroughs as far as chip is concerned. I want to ask you this, in the midst of this favorable geopolitical climate, how big a push will this be, and what do you envisage as the next stages? There's been an India-US tie-up, India-Singapore. How do you envisage this now going from here?
Look, I think we've made tremendous progress, as Mr. Mahindru just pointed out. We already had an ecosystem because we were one of the largest bases for chip design. And we are also going to be one of the largest consumer markets for chips because our automobile sector is expanding, our medical devices sector is expanding, our defense and strategic sectors will also need it, the telecom sector will need it. So you're looking at a consumer expansion in India and an ecosystem for design. I think what was missing was the ability to actually manufacture chips here. And there we are seeing a push, for packaging and testing. Proposals have been cleared, and one proposal by Tata's for producing fabs in India.
Yes.
As far as the US is concerned, I think they've taken the initiative in terms of the initiative on critical and emerging technologies, which the two, the President Biden and Prime Minister Modi had agreed
Yes.
upon. And
Yes.
the two NSAs have been steering it.
Yes.
Now, that's looking not only at semiconductors,
Yes.
but at
larger technological partnerships.
No, well,
yes.
artificial intelligence, quantum computing, space, advanced telecommunications.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Green energy
in fact,
and
hold your
defense.
thought, ma'am. I'm going to come back to that in just a bit, and also add in as far as the efforts being made by American allies as well for the larger geopolitical story. But Mr. Mahindru, in terms of numbers, the first phase, India says the Indian government had said that $10 billion could be the commitment. They've upped the ante for second phase, which could be $15 billion, indicating that the government understands the potential, and more importantly, this could actually convert very soon. So in your opinion, how soon do you see this translating into actual chips being produced?
You see, when this program started, the proposals were not profound because we were breaking ground in terms of understanding the industry. So now some very serious proposals have started coming in, and excellent business plans, technology proposals, and the system of appraisal is very robust and very strong. And so the first 10 billion is getting exhausted, fine. But you see, as the pipeline of proposals is building up, we are sure that more money will get deployed.
Yes.
And this support will continue for the next 10 years because the state governments are also very excited about it. The indirect employment which semiconductor produces and the value which semiconductor produces in every aspect is enormous. So,
indeed, it could
and
start the
Indians
larger
will
manufacturing story that India has been wanting to. Ambassador,
also the most important factor is that we walked the talk on manufacturing, electronic manufacturing. We've gone up 400% in electronic manufacturing in the last 8 years, 2100% in mobile phone manufacturing, and we are not resting on that. The target is now to go up another 400% in the next 5 or 6 years. So that's
Yes.
a good 500 billion of electronic manufacturing. That's
Absolutely.
very, very attractive.
Absolutely.
That's a
Okay.
very attractive destination.
I'll come to that, sir. Yes, Ambassador Meera, which is, when you talk about the tie-up, it is happening at a time when America is also asking some of its allies to ensure that they exclude China, whether it's Netherlands, whether it's Japan. There is a larger push that is being made. In the context of that, how big a beneficiary could India be in terms of getting more investments, in terms of starting this further, in terms of kickstarting this on a faster pace, and also in terms of more tech tie-ups?
Look, for the US, the strategic competition with China plays out largely in the field of technology, in addition to, of course, the military and economic competition. So this is one thing that the pandemic drove home, that you cannot be reliant on only one source for supply chains, because there were shortages. Even today, there have been shortages of semiconductors. And the other is that the US has put in place sanctions against export of sophisticated semiconductor technology and chips to China, including their allies.
Yes.
If they use US parts, the sanctions cover them and they have to get approval from the US government to be able to export to China. So there is a determined push by the US to diversify sources of supply in critical and emerging technologies, and certainly not be, cooperating with what they consider their strategic competitors. And that's a window of opportunity for India.
Yes.
We are seeing it kick-started, but I think we have to do as much as we can to benefit from this window, because it's a short window.
It's a short window. I'll tell you what, I'm completely out of time, but 10 seconds I want to tell this and our viewers, which is that in 2005 is when I started as journalism. I heard the word fab for the first time. 19 years later, I'm just so delighted that finally we are actually looking at some of these investments materializing sooner than we know. Thank you so much, Ambassador Meera Shankar and Pankaj Mahindru, for taking out the time and speaking to me on India Global.
Some people think life slows down in your 50s, but I've got a few rounds left to go. And I don't want my lot to have to worry about funeral costs. Let them spend their money on nicer things. So I decided to learn more about over 50s life insurance from Cover Today. Cover Today are the only over 50s life insurer with no waiting period, unlike other insurers who could make you wait up to 2 years for full cover. With Cover Today, you're fully covered from day one, and you're covered for the whole of your life. Plus, unlike other things in life, the price never goes up. Go online or talk to their friendly UK team in just one phone call.
Cover Today are the only over 50s life insurer with no waiting period and no annoying trips to the doctors either. Plus, you get your choice of a £125 gift card.
Now I'm with Cover Today, I can get on with something much more interesting.
To find out more about Cover Today, call our friendly UK team on 0800 380 0060 or visit covertoday.co.uk.
The Monopoly game is back at McDonald's. There's more ways to win and over 70 million prizes up for grabs, including 100 grand in cash. McDonald's Monopoly Power Peel.
With II's low flat pension fees, you could retire with more.
Really?
Open an interactive investor personal pension today.
Do you need to borrow money for home improvements, a car? Then you've come to the right place. Everyday Loans. Just tell us how much you want to borrow, up to £15,000. At Everyday Loans, we offer a service that's friendly and reliable. Apply online or on your phone. Representative APR 99.9%. Apply now at everydayloans.co.uk.
As a dad, I know life's unpredictable. It's all fun and games until it's not.
You okay?
I want my kids to always be looked after. That's why I'm not putting things off anymore and protecting the life we've built by calling Smart Insurance.
Hi, how can I help?
Hi, I'd like a quick quote, please.
OK, you can choose a benefit amount up to £750,000 depending on your age.
Brilliant.
If you're a UK resident aged 18 to 64, you can apply with just a few health and lifestyle questions. For £250,000 of cover, the price starts at just £14.77 a month.
That's less than I thought, and could help my wife pay off the mortgage.
With our Smart Family Guarantee and 99% of claims having been paid, you'll have peace of mind.
That's good to know.
You'll also receive a 100% advance in the event of terminal illness and 10% cashback on your first year's premiums. That's the Smart Cashback. Plus, you get your choice of a £125 gift card.
Protect the life you've built the smart way. To get a free quote today, call our specialist UK team on 0800 977 6797 or visit smartinsurance.co.uk.
Introducing the new U Facial Hair Remover from JML. Discreetly erase every single unwanted hair from your upper lip, cheeks and chin. And remove all types of hair instantly and painlessly, even delicate peach fuzz, for flawless makeup application. And for perfectly shaped brows, try the new U Eyebrow Shaper to instantly and painlessly sweep away unwanted hair with precision, leaving you with fabulous looking brows. For discreet and effective hair removal, you need new U. Only $14.99 from Asda, Boots, Morrison's, Tesco and jmldirect.com.
Mum and Dad love Bright Sun Travel. They book all their trips through them. Mum's business trips, fly drives or city breaks. I love beach holidays the best, and so does my dad.
For business, leisure or fun, call Bright Sun. At all protected.
The Monopoly game is back at McDonald's with new Power Peel, and the power is at your fingertips. There are more ways to win, and over 70 million prizes up for grabs, including 100 grand in cash. New Monopoly Power Peel. Peel on pack, make moves in app.
Widely regarded as one of the greatest Britons of all time, Sir Winston Churchill is a legendary figure in British politics. And to mark the 150th anniversary of his birth this year, the Westminster Collection is proud to announce the release of a brand new £5 coin. Authorised by His Majesty the King and Buckingham Palace, this official release can be yours for its face value of just £5 plus postage. The Winston Churchill £5 for £5 offer is strictly limited to 1 coin per household. So to secure yours today, simply visit 5poundcoin.co.uk, call 0800 977 5616 or scan the QR code on screen now. Depicting Churchill standing in front of 10 Downing Street's famous front door, this brand new coin celebrates the life and legacy of Britain's heroic wartime leader. And you can own it today for just £5 plus postage. Simply visit 5poundcoin.co.uk now.
Owners of cars and vehicles that have a functional GNSS system within their cars, they will not be levied these fees of the travel fees up to 20 kilometers of their travel on national highways as well as on expressways. What we're understanding from this is that these are as per this is a notice that was issued by the Transport Road